This week on View from the Top, we'll feature Connie Miller, who's the head of the Emmanuel Church's free meal program, Bruce Pearson, who is the supervisor of Addison Township, and Phil Castonia, who is the head of Oxford Parks and Rec, the building right behind me. We hope you enjoy this week's View from the Top.
Hello, this is Lomas Brown, ex-Detroit Lion, and you're watching OCTV. That's Oxford Community TV. Check it out.
We're here in our studio today talking to Connie Miller, an associate and a friend. Connie, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. You are involved in something that I think is really important for our community, and that is a food program that I think many people may not know about. Could you talk to us a little bit about what it is you and the folks that work on your team do, and then maybe why you do it?
Well, it's the free meal program. Back in March of 20, I was still involved with the community meal program that was sponsored through Love Inc. And I got a phone call on a Thursday morning and they said, we're shutting down.
Oof.
And I said, no, because these people will need us more than ever. And I was proven right. So I decided to break off on my own and create free meals, which I thought would be temporary 5 years ago. And
So it's only lasted 5 years.
so far, yeah, for a temporary thing.
Yep.
But so we just started. We haven't missed a Wednesday since. We were originally at the Methodist Church on Burdick, and then we moved to Emmanuel. And we do it because it's got to be done. It's proven by the numbers. The numbers continue to rise. We have new people every week.
Right.
Other food banks in the area are shutting down. So we do our best to just keep going. We provide meals, which are generally provided by Cranks Catering, Sick Pizza, Independence Village, and sometimes we cook. But and then we provide groceries and milk and eggs and whatever other odds we have.
Sure. How many people roughly are involved in coming and benefiting from this program?
We serve about 100, and I'll say an average. It goes up and down. It spikes. We serve an average of 130 meals a week and about 50 families.
That's a lot of folks who
Yeah, it is.
we may drive by and not notice that they're maybe in more need than most of us can
Well,
think.
you don't know what's going on in the house next door. Your kids don't know about the kid they sit next to in class. And so that's why it's important to have this. And we don't ask a lot of questions. We don't take income information. They are our guests, and we treat them with dignity and humor and make it an easier thing for them to do. Because most of these folks have never been in this situation before. This is not a chronic type person that we serve. These are folks that, I call it the plague, when the plague fell in March of 20, they had homes, they had cars, they had jobs. And all of a sudden, that all changed. And they're still working their way back. And most of the people we serve do work. They do have jobs. I mean, we have some senior citizens. And whether people like to believe it or not, Oxford does have a homeless population. I mean, you may not necessarily see these folks, but we have them, and we serve them just as easily as anyone else.
How does someone out there in the community who has a need like that and is probably shy about talking about it, how would they find out that there's a place where at least they can come once a week and get a meal?
Well, I post it constantly,
Okay.
and I have people that share it within other communities. Like they share it into the like Lake Villa and such to get the word out. I push the word every week.
Right.
Some people are just now coming into their needs, but it's just word of mouth primarily.
Got it.
Yeah, and we just need to do it.
Now, I was involved for a few years with a group of churches, a couple down in Lake Orion and a couple up here that would provide meals on different nights of the week.
Yeah, that was the community meal program through Love Inc.
Got it. And that is it right to say that no longer functions?
No, they did come back
Okay.
after several months.
All right.
I'm not sure what the schedule is anymore. I think there's still a couple nights when there's nothing available. But when we started, I always served on Wednesday before, because I've been involved with that program for probably 10 years before this. And we just continued on Wednesday, so there's an assurance. And then Emmanuel also serves as part of the community meals program on Tuesday, which is just meals. Most of the programs are just meals. We went ahead and provided the rest.
You give more than just one night's meal. You give other things that people need help with.
Yeah.
How do you said donations come from lots of different organizations.
Well, primarily it's from the community. Like just before we started, I got a call. Someone's making a drop off at the church. I just keep putting the word out. There are drop boxes at Charter Township of Oxford,
Okay.
offices on Dunlap. There's one at the Chase by Meyer, and of course here at the studio. Or people can call me, 248-933-4579.
Did you get that?
Yes, he did. And just any way they can get it to us. Money is important because we have to buy milk and eggs every week. And if you've looked at the price of milk and eggs, we just got another grant from Fort County, which really helps.
Excellent.
Yeah, they have been supportive almost from the beginning. And so that really helps. But the bulk of it comes from the community. We're going to have a fundraiser, a euchre fundraiser in November, which the public is encouraged to come.
Where would that be held?
That's going to be at Emmanuel.
Okay.
Yep. And then we have the newspaper sale again in December.
Yep.
And right now there's a food drive going at Kingsbury, and then 242 strong teams are doing food drives.
Nice for the
Yeah,
kids.
for November and December. So, just have to keep it moving. We never know where it's going to come from, but we just have to have faith that we're doing the right thing, and the big guy's keeping an eye on us.
Where do you store the stores that you get?
We have a room in the church
Okay,
that we
right.
call the pantry, and we have 2 freezers and 2 true refrigerators that were all donated,
Excellent.
and that's where we keep the cold stuff.
Yep.
And the rest of it is just pure labor, and my team is amazing. Most amazing people.
Tell us about the team. How do people get involved? Who are they in general? And I'm sure you pay them a lot of money per hour for
Of
the
course.
service. Yeah,
Of course. No, I pat them on the back is what I do.
Pat them on the
We're
back.
all there for the love of what we're doing.
of course.
Everybody has come for a different reason. There's no one reason. They find me, they call me. I have a young man who's been with me since he was 13.
Really?
And he stopped by on his bike one night and said, "What's this all about?" And then, "I just want to watch." And he did. After a while, he said, "Can anybody do this?" I said, "Well, do you need a meal?" He said, "No, I want to volunteer."
Bravo.
That's our Tyler. He'll turn 16 in January.
Excellent.
And we have another young lady, KK, that came as a part of a group last year. And the rest of her group went on their way, but she's still with us.
She stayed.
She turned 16 on Saturday.
Excellent.
So we love having the kids.
Must be a joy for you to see that young people, a few of them get a sense that, hey, there's something I can do to help somebody that isn't in my friend group, but that does have a need, and I can help them actually improve a little bit.
Yeah, we need the kids.
Yeah, we do.
Because we're all going to retire eventually, I hope.
Eventually, I hope.
And we need the kids to understand what we're doing and to continue what we're doing. It's going to because I don't see any end in sight.
I wouldn't think so either.
I thought originally it was going to be temporary, but
Up and down, and it goes up and stays, huh?
yeah. And like I said, we're on the upswing again now with numbers.
Yeah.
But
Is that because winter's a coming, or
it's a game I'll never win. Try to figure from week to week. Is it the weather? Is it the season? Whatever. There's no rhyme or reason to it. One week we get hit, we'll have 160. We nearly run out of food. The next week we're at 120. I mean, who knows? So we just try to keep up with it as best we can.
Sure. So then, for those folks out there who might be watching, or who will be watching, what's the message to them? What do you want them to know? How can they help?
You can help by donating groceries or cash. Cash is always important. You can contact me again. You'll have my phone number. And anybody that needs help, we don't judge. Everybody's been in a tough place. And we just want people to know that we will treat them with dignity and respect and a sense of humor, because that's so important.
Yeah.
And it's just a safe place to go. There's no judgment. Because there but for the grace of God. I've had people that I've served that used to volunteer with me.
That's a
And
circle.
It is. And I say, look, you've been making deposits for years. You can make a withdrawal now. It's time. And then we have people that come for meals and ask how can they volunteer, and they come back and volunteer because they feel like they have to earn it. You don't, but you're welcome.
Well, there is joy in giving to people who might not be able to give back to you.
Well, you have to give, and that's it. You don't expect anything in return. But selfishly, we're proud of what we're doing, and we do get a good feeling from it.
Absolutely.
And we're filling a need in the community that nobody else seemed to be willing to fill.
So then, if you all who are watching have any sense, you might get a hold of Connie, ask how you can help, make a donation, talk to folks who you might know, and have them help out too. You'd be willing to take more donations and more help, eh?
Always, always. It's like I said, it's so easy to do. I don't ask any one person to give me $1,000. I'll accept it. But if, 10 people give me $5 each, that's $50.
Yep.
And I can do a lot with that. And there's no such thing as a small contribution. We have some of our guests that pull through the line and they're in a bad way, and they slip me $5. They still contribute.
And they may not have an extra $5 to give.
Oh, yeah, I know. We have
guess
people that are combining their gas money now. 2 and 3 families coming up in one car.
Wow.
So, we do our best to accommodate. We can't give them a home. We can't give them gas cards. We can't pay their utility bills. But we can make sure that they get a meal and some groceries.
Excellent.
That's all we can do.
Well, I thank you so much for A, your connection with these people and your friendship, and B, the fact that you mobilize folks to meet needs that otherwise maybe wouldn't even be noticed.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely an underserved portion of the community. And like I said, anybody that thinks that they know what's going on next door and they'll be fine, you don't know.
So where should they stop by to see what's going on?
Free meals are served at Emmanuel Church at the corner of Hovey and Denison every Wednesday from 5 to 6. You enter through Denison unless you're walking or riding a bike, which you come up from Hovey. And we're there. You'll be greeted. We'll ask you what you need. That's the only questions we ask.
What do you need?
How many people are you serving tonight? Are you feeding tonight? And past that, we just do our thing. We have a great system.
Yeah.
We've been at this a long time, and it's like a well-oiled machine. Yeah, but we have fun too, and we have fun with the guests.
Fun's good. All right.
Yeah.
So for those of you watching and those of you who live and enjoy, come be a part of this good endeavor. Connie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
For Connie, this is Chuck saying, stay tuned. Well, greetings for our view from the top today. I'm sitting in the office of Phil Castonia. Phil, thank you for taking a few minutes to talk with us.
Thanks for coming to visit.
Phil is the crown prince of our amazing Parks and Rec operations, and we love what we've got here in the community for Parks and Recreation, and we appreciate your leadership and your whole team. It's a great group.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have a strong commission that supports the value of the Parks and Rec and what it does for the Oxford community, and I'm just happy to be part of it and kind of bringing that reality to our residents and visitors. So.
Excellent. Well, as you know, View from the Top's principle is, what message should the community know about what's going on or what has gone on recently from the departments that we speak to? So can you talk a bit about what's happened recently, what's happening now, and let the folks know what's of interest?
Sure. So we had a great year. Our program numbers are still growing. The community's growing, and we're trying to keep up with the demand and adapt as the community needs change. We were very fortunate to receive a couple large grants this year with the help of CJ Carnacchio from the township. We got a playground grant from Game Time, a national playground manufacturer, and we put a brand new playground out the back here at Seymour Lake Park near our baseball and soccer complex that I think it tripled the size, just massive. When we were out there this weekend for the turkey trot, and I just sit in awe because it's just such a overdue improvement to this park. The old one was over 30 years old, and to be able to see that come to reality and then see the usage of that playground every day is just amazing. To give the kids in the community something more, and to have half of it paid for by a grant limits our expenditures and allows us to do more and make the dollar go further. So
when I think about that too, I think that this is a wonderful park that covers a lot of activities. If you start moms with little kids going playing with all the way back to the end of the park, then they're familiar with the park. So as their little ones get a little bigger, maybe baseball or the frisbee golf or the pickleball.
Yeah, so
lots of things that are all kind of in a row here to play with.
For sure, and that leads us right into the other grant. CJ took the lead on with our 4-county community foundation, and then the township with their remaining ARPA funds. This past fall, we completely redid the tennis and pickleball courts. The pickleball was there, but it was very much just an afterthought of the tennis courts, which were paid for with the bond about 5 years ago. So we couldn't get rid of tennis because it was still an important part of our park. But like this, a lot of our facilities are multi-use facilities, and this grant allowed us to completely resurfaced those courts. And now we have 8 total pickleball courts, while still having 4 tennis ball courts. So they interact with each other, but we went from 4 pickleball to 8. And the usage of that has just been blowing up. And having actual pickleball nets instead of the tennis nets has been a much needed addition to this facility for the community.
If you folks who are watching haven't done this before, you ought to come out here any morning. It's just, there are dozens and dozens of folks out there enjoying pickleball.
Yeah, we've got a great following. They come from all over Oxford and the surrounding communities because it's a very social game. But the morning crowds are typically the older retired crowd, and then we do have some very strong players who come in the evenings that are on the younger side. It's definitely a multi-generational sport, and seeing kids playing with their grandparents all the way in between is just awesome.
Excellent. So how do you decide on priorities? There are a lot of things that are on your plate, on your desk. I'm sure you've got a good team. How do you make decisions on what to do first and second, and what you have to put off until 2025 maybe?
Sure. I mean, we've always got a list going of improvements and things we want to do. There's no shortage of trying to keep up and continue to go to the next level on everything. Obviously, first thing we do is if there's anything health and safety related, we make sure we take care of that. Major project coming up at the end of this year, beginning of next, is getting rid of the septic system out at Stony Lake Park for our bathrooms. With the brand new sewer that the township ran up M24. They've put a connection in at our park for us, so we've got an actual sewer line going in. Again, to prevent any future issues with the failing septic, now we will have sewer.
Got it.
So that was one of that we wanted to do, but we had to wait for the township to get their infrastructure there, and that is now just finishing up, and we'll be completing that. So other than that, it's based on the funding we have, playing the shell game of what is most important, and keeping that list going. And as grants come in, we can do more, and then put things off to future years and just keep that list going. So
I want to thank you for the use of some of your personnel to do a park tour. We are, as you may know, we're looking at the parks in Oxford Township and Addison Township, because they're great places that maybe some people don't know about. And we've done it in Oakwood. We're going to do some more parks locally, and it's amazing the amount of good parkland that we have around here.
And Oakwood's an important one because it is off the beaten path, and there's not much for facility-wise. So it's good to be able to do a hands-on tour and show people what's out there, and allow people to go check it out and be able to see it. I watched the segment. It was a fantastic job with you and Jeff, and exploring the whole park, and that lake in the back to fish on is just beautiful, but it's a little hike to get there. So
people who really, really like quiet and peace and calmness, I urge you to take off to Oakwood Park, which is just a bit north of Meyer, and just take a walk around the grounds. It's a lovely, peaceful, quiet place, and that's music for most people's souls, just calming.
Yeah, and that's part of Oxford. You want that up north field. Well, there it is.
There it is.
You're not far from town, but you're feeling like you're up north.
Exactly right. Anything else going on before we let you go?
That's about it for this year, and we're always looking to improve and excited to continue serving the residents for next year.
Well, as a resident, I'm a fan, and we appreciate all the work you folks do. My kids don't live here. My grandkids sometimes visit, and we love to drag them out here and have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, Phil, thanks to your staff as well. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next time, right?
Sounds good. Thanks for coming.
So for Phil, this is Chuck saying, this is the view from the top. We hope you are having a great day. Okay, sitting here with Bruce. Thank you, by the way, for spending a bit of time. Addison Township is a wonderful place, and you're the supervisor.
Yes.
And we want to thank you for letting us spend 5 minutes in your beautiful operation here.
Yes, we just had an election, and I would like to thank all of our residents. They have faith in how we're running things here, and they re-elected all of us here. And we also have a new treasurer, Mike McDonald, who is now stepping up, and he's very familiar with the community. He's been in office before, and But I'd just like to thank everybody that I think everybody over the last, it's been 16 years for me now. But over 16 years, we've made an awful lot of improvements, and I think people can see it. The new township hall, the roads are much better. The electric grid is upgraded. Now we brought in natural gas. We have spruced up Lakeville area. We're not changing the quaintness of our town. That's our little bit of heaven that we tell people they can work in all the other communities, but they come home to heaven here because this is a nice little community and we want to keep it that way, but we don't want things falling down around it. Some people have asked me, it just came up on Facebook the other day about the Celtic Knot. That's a restaurant.
I was actually going to ask you about that because it's an interesting place.
Yes, that has a lot of history, and a lot of people put out that it was going to be demolished, this and that. No, I met with the new owner. He's going to have it all upgraded and fixed up and landscaped, and then he has a chef coming in to work there, and so in a few weeks he'll be back opened up. Good. And it's a new owner, and like I said, we do like to see that things are upgraded and improved. We just don't want to see things fall down around them, but we want to keep our history here. And the log cabin is what it was called. That has a lot of history, and it's a beautiful place inside, and he's going to maintain that. So
it's a fun place inside too. You think you could well be way up in the UP when you walk into that building.
Yes, I can remember when I was a deputy sheriff out here many years ago. I ran Oakland Township, Addison Township up here, and I can remember that if you ever had any trouble in the old log cabin bar, you had to be able to do a little soft shoe and a lot of talking because your nearest backup was coming from Rochester.
It's a long way.
Yeah, so you had to have a little finesse if there was ever any trouble.
Talk slow and all right.
But
well, we appreciate that. For the folks now that elections are passed and you're going to get a paycheck for another week or two, that's a good thing.
Yes.
What kind of things does the township have to think about as things get ready for winter? Are there programs or projects that have to stop, or are there things that have to be prepared for winter?
Well, as you know, the road commission maintains all of our roads.
Yes, sir.
People call all of the time, and I have a very good rapport with the Oakland County Road Commission. Jason is our foreman, and Dave. We have a superintendent that's great, and you can see it in the roads now. The roads are in great shape, and a lot of people will call and think that the township owns a road. The township doesn't own any roads. Those were all taken away back in 1935 or whatever during the Depression. So the road commission maintains all of the roads, but I do have a direct line to the foreman and stuff, and when somebody has something that's really emergency, they do call here, and we make sure that we get a hold of them, and generally it's taken care of pretty darn quick.
Got it.
So I just want people to know that it's not the township that maintains the road, but I do. We have a tri-party fund where we put in a third, the county puts in a third, and the road commission puts in a third for gravel every year. So we're still re-graveling. We try, at one time we were doing like 7-8 miles, but the same amount of money now does about 3.5, 4 miles. But we're still doing that, and we have re-graveled every road in Addison Township since I took over almost twice now. So we've made big improvements.
The work never stops, does it?
No.
One question from me. How far north does your township go before you're, I presume, out of the county?
Boardman Road is the county line with Lapeer. We're pretty unique here because our border DeQuinder is Macomb, and then Lapeer is Boardman Road. So
right up in the corner.
Correct. And we're still a general law township.
What's that mean?
Well, what it means is that if you're a charter township, then your boundaries are set.
Okay.
Oxford Township is a charter township, and so is Orion Township, and so is Oakland Township, because they had times in their past when other people wanted to take over parts of their area, like Avon Township. Rochester took some of that for the city, and so they had to then become a city or charter township, so they became a city. Same thing with Auburn Hills. Pontiac was encroaching around the Silverdome, so, but that's the difference between charter and general law. General law has different rules, and the charter, their fiscal year is every January. Ours is April 1st. So. But other than that, there's a lot of difference.
A lot of differences.
Yes.
Well, it works.
Okay.
Speaking of law, you're the law enforcement here. I'm an Oxford boy. The law enforcement here. My brother lives up on Roland Road, so just north, and he's urged me several times. When it says 25 miles an hour here, what they really mean is 25 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And he has urged me to obey the rules because it's expensive. It's like going through downtown Oxford. It's an expensive luxury if you think 25 really means close to 40. It can cost you.
Yes, we around the lakes here, we have a lot of driveways, and it's my thing is if you come through here anyhow, do 25 because the scenery is beautiful. You get to see the lake, you get to see all. I mean, and if you're on your way home from work, this is a nice way of calming yourself down to the Lakeville area.
Exactly.
But we, as you know, we were rated the safest township in all of Michigan, and we're pretty proud of that. Our deputies do a good job.
What is that based on? Is it traffic accidents?
No, it's based on crime.
Crime, okay.
And so we were the safest township in the whole state.
Excellent.
Which we're very, I always told everybody, the role, and I was the deputy sheriff up here, the role of the deputy sheriff up here is to make sure everybody gets through life.
Yes, okay. I like that.
But also to come home and not have their house broke into.
Yeah.
There's nothing more devastating than to come home while you've been at work and find out that somebody has broke into your house or broken at night or whatever. So our deputies have done an excellent job up here just by the crime statistics.
Where's the local post? Is it over in Oxford?
Right here. I keep it in the township office.
That's right. It's right here. Yeah.
And I like to have that. A lot of other places have them in different areas or whatever, but I like to keep in contact with the sheriff, and they come in and talk to our staff all the time. They make sure they're safe here.
Excellent.
You have to understand in this world today, there are a lot of angry people.
There are.
And when they come into the township, it's kind of nice just to have the sheriff's office attached right to our offices here.
There's a presence to that.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes. And Sheriff Bouchard does an excellent job.
Yeah.
He has high quality standards for his deputies, and we're very fortunate in this township. People should understand that this stuff doesn't happen just by or drop out of the sky. It happens because people do a good job and they're prepared.
Takes a lot of work, doesn't it?
Yes.
Right. Well, we appreciate the time and the work that you and your team do here to make this a great community. We hope that the folks from time to time in the future who look at the View from the Top programs, we hope to do this every couple of months, just enjoy hearing what's new from the folks who are responsible.
I'd just like to add that we are moving forward with the library.
Yeah.
Okay, we were out there. We have some volunteers that are going to ramrod the project, and we have a lot of volunteers in the community. That will lower our costs of putting this up. As you know, the community came forward to help build the township hall. We saved an awful lot of money. We were way under budget and way ahead of schedule. So we hope to be able to do the same with the library, but a lot of people were asking about those things, and so I just wanted to set the record straight that we are moving forward, like to get the basement in and then frame it during the winter.
Excellent.
And the restaurant here, I wanted to get that out because Facebook, everybody has an opinion that there's going to be condos and there's going to be this and that. That none of that is true. The restaurant is going to reopen again.
So the story I heard about a 27-story Hyatt Regency won't be happening there?
And the amusement park and everything. No, none of that.
No,
is
that's
coming.
okay. Well, then I'll cancel my big check for stock.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We appreciate it very much. So,
Thank you.
for Bruce, this is Chuck saying we hope you have a great day. But we hope you enjoyed this week's View from the Top. Stay tuned. In the future, you'll find out more from the leaders in our communities. Till then, enjoy it. Chuck Cameron for OCTV saying, have a great day.